What's up, everybody?
What's happening, family?
And welcome back to another episode of Is This Gonna Cause an Argument? My name is Angel Akita Moore, also known as ThatChickAngel.
I am Marcus.
I'm sorry. I usually cue you in. So, and you are...
God dang. I am Marcus Tanksley of Marcus Ain't on the Gram. She looked at me like, why ain't you talking?
That's not how I looked at you. I looked at you like, yeah, your turn. But then I realized there were words.
Looked at me like, what's her name? Is it Olivia? Not Olivia.
Amelia from Married at First Sight.
Anyway, family, how y'all doing? Thank y'all for tuning in to Is This Gonna Cause an Argument? This is a weekly podcast.
Yes, it is.
We talk about any and everything. We talk about family. We talk about ours and yours. We talk about dog people that we don't like.
I'm telling you. Let me just say this. Let me just say this, you guys. I want to give a huge shout out to our Patreon who has suffered through watching us struggle to get this podcast up to date.
They have been here for the past 45 minutes just watching us struggle.
We've just struggled with the technical.
Teddy Riley just bleeding all over this right now.
So the internet wasn't working properly. Then our mics didn't seem like it was picking us up.
It still may not be, but this is how you're going to hear it.
It'll be fine.
Okay.
And then even like topic-wise, I have topics written for the entire... like almost the entire year. Where is that at? I don't know. I don't know where that paper is anymore because we call ourselves cleaning up. So yeah, we over here on the struggle bus. They are watching us struggle right now.
They are.
For their own entertainment.
I'll tell y'all what I'm laughing at here in a minute. Go ahead, Angel.
But what is really great, and we're glad that we're able to do, is we have sponsors for this episode, and we can't wait to tell you all about them.
Absolutely.
Hopefully you'll check them out, because when you use one of our sponsors, you are ultimately supporting this podcast.
Yeah, so we greatly appreciate our sponsors and you all for supporting those sponsors.
So just as a quick little handling of business, you can find this podcast anywhere podcasts are found, as well as you can watch the visual of it on YouTube at ThatChickAngel TV.
Yes.
You can follow me at ThatChickAngel across all platforms, and you can follow Marcus at Marcus Ain't on the Gram on Instagram and Marcus Ain't on the Book on Facebook.
Still trying to figure out the Facebook thing. I understand why it's necessary, but the algorithm over it don't work for me. Like, I get 6 people that watch my videos on Facebook.
You actually need to like interact and engage, babe. But you can also get his beard and body butter.
Yes, Manship. That's Manshit. You get your Manshit at manshit.com. You can go on. What are you doing?
Keep talking. This is in front of the camera.
Oh,
I was just gonna move it. Go ahead.
Yeah, Manshit. Manshit.com is MANSHYT. It's 100% all natural beard and body butter. So check that out, y'all. I use it. I'm not only the client.
You're not only the owner, but you're also a client.
Yeah, I'm also a client.
If you're like listening, you can hear our third co-host, Amar, our youngest child. He is just sometimes a little bit of a jerk, and he knows we're struggling, and he's like, "Let me add to it." But I do want to point out this might be a little bit of an argument. My husband, on a regular basis, loves to touch stuff that I'm using and working with while I'm talking. I just did the same thing. And what did you do?
I reacted the way you do.
It interrupted the flow of the whole thing.
If you didn't react the way you do, I wouldn't have did what I did.
You can't ever just take responsibility.
Just deal with your flaws that are bleeding off on me, and I don't appreciate it.
You deal with that flaw.
I really don't appreciate it. You need to get yourself together.
Yes, anytime we in the podcast, Marcus will reach his big old hand over into my stuff.
You just reached your bear claw of a hand over here.
I did. I just wanted you to feel what it felt like.
You know we ain't got the fan on. Back up.
You can turn it back on. That didn't fix anything.
Yeah, it
didn't. Y'all, I'm telling you, the sound looks so crazy over here. We were like, ain't nobody gonna be able to hear us. Yes, as one of the Patreons said, Marcus is the king of deflection.
First of all, who said that? Miss Brand? Oh, no.
No, it wasn't.
You too, Miss Brand. Everybody's studying you.
If you all want to
Reseda, you can go elsewhere too.
If you all want to be in the live audience of this podcast, feel free to join our Patreon at patreon.com/ThatChickAngel.
Yep, that's because you was running.
And now we got another kid in here crying.
No.
We got a kid. No, we can deal with it.
He all right. They run around this house like I told them yesterday. They was outside barefoot in the backyard running around. playing. I said, not if, but when you hurt your foot, don't come for me crying and all of that. I'm not going to care because I already told you put something on your feet.
Breathe. So this is a perfect segue into our first segment of the podcast, and it's Tanksley Pride Stories. Tanksley Pride is what we call our kids on their Instagram account. We have 4 boys. If this is your first time tuning in or getting to know us, we have 4 boys. We have a 10-year-old, we have 5-year-old twins, and then we have a 1-year-old. And the crying you just heard, the whimpering, I should say, was more like a whimper that you heard in the background was of one of our 5-year-old twins.
Yeah.
Sai. So, you better now? Did you hurt your toe?
I did when I was walking and my feet.
You were walking and it what?
I hit my feet.
Oh, he hit his feet when he was
Stubbed
walking.
your toe, your pinky toe.
Oh, bless
Yeah.
that baby's heart. Bless
You okay?
that.
I
You
know
just gotta
talking about it
breathe.
makes you cry more.
You gotta take deep breaths.
Take a deep breath and leave so we can finish this podcast.
You gotta what? You gotta boo boo.
No, I was doing moving there in my feet.
It's okay. Just breathe. I don't need to know. Just breathe. So let me tell y'all a Tanksley
ahead,
Pride story.
Go ahead. Go in there and sit down and
Massage your toes.
massage your toes. It'll be all right.
Let me tell you about a
It's the
Tanksley.
thought of doing it that hurts more than actually doing it. You like to hurt yourself? Yeah. Stop. Shut up. I don't care. Stop. Stop crying.
Typically, I am on the same page as him, but I knew it was only going to make it longer before we could get back to this podcast. So, Tanksley Pride story. Yesterday, okay, see, my kids have been really, really good when it concerns this whole pandemic. Like, Kai, for instance, Sai was asking, Mommy, are we going to be having a lot of people come over? And Kai was like, no, because we don't want to catch the coronavirus from people.
Yeah.
Like, they have a complete understanding of how this virus is like about having too many people around you. You could catch the virus, right? So because they have been so good at the way they've been handling this whole pandemic, I've been wanting to do some special stuff for them for the summer. So yesterday was my first time being able to execute one of those for real. And we did a
movie night.
movie
in the
night.
Backyard, had the projector screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really nice. Actually, that was my first time doing it at any of our houses. And it was nice. I was like, it's like sitting in a massive basement with crickets in it.
Yes. It was so good.
It was quiet outside. It was finally got dark enough to where we could see the projector and the projector screen. The kids seemed to enjoy themselves. They actually shut up during the movie, which is very rare.
I just wish we would have had we just had our fold-out chairs, but I wish we would have had our patio furniture, which we started looking for 2 weeks ago, then gave up looking for it, but I'm about to be back on the hunt again. So we could have gotten like really comfortable. Somebody actually well, you know, like more like, you know, me and Marcus used to love going to this luxury theater.
Yeah, movie theater
in Pasadena called iPic, where you were in recliners and you could just like lay out. It was just really, really nice. So, yes, I'm glad Ebony just mentioned on here the furniture is about to go on sale. Praise God.
Yeah,
and
end
we're
of the
about
year,
to get this.
absolutely.
We're about to get this on sale stuff. So, I am glad that I was able to do that, but something else I really want to be able to do for them is I want to do an indoor camping trip for them. And why do I say indoor? Because I don't want to sleep outdoors. That's one reason why I'm saying.
sleeping outdoors. They're going to be sleeping outdoors in the backyard.
No. So what I want to do, and you had already agreed to it, so don't try to switch it up on me. What I want to do is I want to set up a tent in the kitchen and have them in a tent in sleeping bags in the kitchen. However, I want to set up some activities outside. I want to put out fake animals for them to find.
You know, I was listening to you explain this.
No,
and
you said okay.
Because I probably saw you wasn't budging. You was being stubborn, so I just
Marcus,
said okay.
You completely agreed.
You said they're going to, you know how hot they're going to get in a tent in the...
You know how happy they're going to be? They're going to be happy.
Do you, babe?
Thank
So
you.
we ain't got enough room in the kitchen for a tent.
Marcus, don't kill my joy. Just
I'm
let me
not- alright.
do what
Yes, babe, it's a great idea. This is
Okay.
probably exactly what happened last time. It's a great
no,
idea.
you were all on board.
Yeah,
No.
that's dope.
No, see,
We
he's
can
trying
get
to
them
play
one of them
me.
things that light stars up on the ceiling.
He's trying to play
It's
me
gonna be
right
so
now.
dope.
You know what I could really use right now? I could use some wine to help
You?
just take the
Huh.
edge off of this conversation.
What kind of wine would you use?
I would use Usual Wines, who's
Really?
our first sponsor for this podcast, and we are huge fans of Usual Wines. Usual Wines is not a stranger to this podcast. They have sponsored several of our episodes, so we're so glad to tell you all again about them.
And I really enjoy drinking usual wine.
Yes. Okay, so let's tell you about Usual Wines. Usual Wines are for the modern drinker. Each bottle is 6.3 ounces, a heavy pour or about a glass and a half of wine. No more pouring wine down the sink when you don't want to finish the bottle because the single serve format and bottle design, Usual Wine is always fresh. No more flat, bubbly, or stale rosé. Usual Wines are made from world-class AVAs, that's American Viticultural Area in California, like Napa, Sonoma, and Santa Barbara, and are made with minimal intervention, 0 sugar, and 0 additives. The wine is low carb and has 0 grams of sugar. Usual has a red blend, a rosé, a sparkling white wine called Brut. They also have a limited production Brut rosé just for the summer. More on the no sugar. Did you know that in the U.S. there is over 60 additives allowed by law to be used in winemaking? Usual doesn't use any chemical or sugar additives to enhance the flavors or stability of their wine. They are truly a clean wine brand. But don't grapes contain sugar? Yes, absolutely they
All
do.
fruit does.
Okay.
All of it.
But to clarify, Usual Wines are produced using a natural, sustainable grape harvested every fall. These grapes are picked at the optimal ripeness to ensure that all sugar will be fermented completely until the wine are dry with no residual sugar. And all that is left over is delicious, clean wine. Okay, the process of fermentation happens when natural yeast eats the naturally occurring sugar in grapes. In goes sugar, out comes alcohol. Some winemakers purposefully end fermentation early to keep a little sugar in their wines. Usual Wines are fermented until no more sugars are in the wine. This ensures the wines are dry as possible and lower in calories. And y'all know Angel is on a healthier me journey. So lower sugar, lower calories. Amen to that. No sugar.
Equals more
Okay.
wine.
Yeah, that means I can have more.
But one thing they're
wine.
not bringing up. Oh, go ahead. Are you done?
Go to check out their website at www.usualwines.com and
Absolutely.
use our discount code ARGUE
Argue.
for $8 off your first purchase and try your first glass on us. Again, check out their website at www.usualwines.com and use our discount code ARGUE for $8 off your first order.
Absolutely. One thing I want to talk about with the Usual Wine is the glass that they serve them in. I should have kept one. We got those as usual wine box, the usual wine box, and we finished those things so quick. We forgot to save the bottles, but it's like she said, a tall glass, like a big, large glass, and they're individually served, whatever you get, and it's more than enough, and it's great.
Usual Wines.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's
So,
dope.
back to what I was saying, camp and drip in the house. Want to do the whole sleeping bags in the tent. I've got some stars that can go up on the ceiling that glow in the dark.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That'd be dope.
And then I want to hide different little animals, and then they'll have to find them. So giving them like a little sheet of, this is what you have to find in the picture of it, and them going in the backyard to find the different animals. So like a squirrel and a snake and different stuff like that. I want to be able to give them that thing before, because school is starting up so soon.
Mm-hmm.
Like Marcus is not as involved with the school stuff, and there is so much stuff being thrown at us right now that is just, it is a lot. So
No, I've said the emails that I get is overwhelming.
yeah,
Like not the emails, but what's involved in the emails. I'm just like, oh my god,
yeah, it's
this
a,
is ridiculous. Almost as ridiculous as setting up a TV in the kitchen.
shut up. And they are on 2 different schedules. The twins and Little Marcus are going to be on 2 different schedules. So it's
Yeah.
also going to be a lot for me to try to juggle while also still working basically full time. So
It's a
yeah.
lot.
But what's your
Is that your
pride?
taxi pride or your?
Yeah, my taxi pride story is
Or
that I
what's
plan on
stuffing
doing
you?
that.
Or what's creasing your Timbs?
It was the taxi pride
Oh,
story.
okay.
That's how I said it was. Is this you buying time for your taxi pride
No,
story?
not at all. My taxi pride story is this little one right here acting more and more like one of the twins in a bad mood.
What do you mean by that?
His he does this crying and this whining right now, and just because he's not getting his way, like he was, I don't know if y'all could see it for the people watching or if y'all could hear it for the people listening, but he was trying to grab one of the drawers in front of us and keep slamming it, like opening and closing it, so I was holding it. So that's why he did that initial like squeal, because he was mad. He got that temper in him, and I don't know when he's gonna get to the point to where I can just start hitting him in his chest. Uh, but no, his boy's getting so much personality, and when he's being nice and sweet, it's going really great. But when he's being a jerk, it makes you want to lay hands and bless him.
Their relationship is just the funniest. The other night, Amar was having himself a good time. In our den, we have a very long couch. And I was on one end of the couch, and Big Marcus was on the other end of the couch. And he would crawl from me all the way down the couch. And one time he crawled all the way to his daddy, crawled over his daddy's arm, sat down in the little nook between Marcus's arm and his body, and was sitting there just kind of like, what are we looking at on your phone?
Yeah, what you scrolling through right here?
What you looking at? You looking at that WAP, Daddy? You see that video?
Still haven't seen that video. I must watch it.
He still has not seen WAP, y'all.
You gotta check that out.
You've
Gotten a lot of messages.
I think you'll be like, okay, all right, if that's how you feel.
It's nothing new on the.
It's nothing new under the sun. No, it's nothing new. You'll just be like, okay.
I mean, I know what to expect coming from those two.
Yeah, yeah. But then recently, recently, okay, you wanna get down? The Marcus was playing with Amar on the bed, doing this like attacking him like a monster, going on him, and Amar obviously thought it was the funniest thing ever. And then every time Big Marcus would walk away,
he'd be making the noise.
He'd be growling. He'd be with his little voice. They have the cutest father-son relationship, I feel like, out of all the kids now. Yeah, I used to think it was him and Kai that had the cutest, but I feel like Amar is like, nah, I'm the one. I'm the one that's going to take all of this money. Me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I think that's the case. I truly do. Oh my God. So, let's segue into the topic of the day.
So, y'all, today our topic is we are answering questions that come in live from our Patreon.
Yes. So we took a couple down before we started.
Yeah, we took a few down. So we'll talk about those, and then anything new that comes up, we're going to talk about that too.
So, and this is all, even though we planned on doing an episode like this in the future, we're doing it today because we just did not have our topic list together. So we were like, still going to do a podcast.
Yeah, that's one of the things we were just discussing before we started is having a successful podcast, is especially if you're not just talking about all the current events, because there's always something current and something new or politics or something. But when you steer away from that stuff the way we do, it can be difficult to keep coming up with fresh topics.
When we as the talent are also the producers. There are people who have full-blown producers, and a lot of them have seasons.
Right.
And we're like, all year, all 2020, banger, 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 banger. So now we're like, okay. Somebody said, Seema said, you need to go digital, Angel. Listen, my thoughts flow better from my head to pen, but I should have then typed them up. But in order to get my thoughts down, it's a lot easier for me to write it down than it is for me to type.
And plus, Angel likes writing down notes. Like, she keeps journals, like just to plan out her day. She'll fill up these. I mean, she's always buying these goddamn journals. I don't know what it is. She loves doing it. Yeah,
it helps me commit more things to memory. But anyways, today I couldn't find it, so our Patreon is now very much so involved in this podcast. I feel like one of the overall questions that, well, not overall, there is a couple of questions that fall under the theme of entrepreneurship that I feel like we can go ahead and answer.
Yeah.
Marcus has been an entrepreneur for coming on a year now. He's had dibbled and dabbled in doing like side hustle work.
Yeah.
For for since before I met him. Him being an electrician by trade allowed him to do like side hustle jobs when he was younger. But now he is trying to eventually move over to being a full blown entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Where that is where majority of his income is coming from.
Right. That's the goal. That's what I'm pushing toward at this present.
Then why?
Because I like it's one of those things where it's like, if I can work as hard as I do for somebody else, why am I not doing it for myself?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's this little, I'm sure a lot of you have seen it and heard it, or saw it somewhere. There's a meme. It said, not a meme, I don't know exactly what you call it, but it says your boss owns a Ferrari or whatever type of car, has a massive house, and it's like, if you work really hard and do your work, if you're really good at your job and do all your work and work really hard, within a few years he'll be able to afford another one. And it's just like, yeah, you're doing that for someone else. They're the bigger picture seer and working for them. Granted, I'm not knocking anybody because I've done it this long, worked for someone, and it's done well for me and my family. What?
Go ahead. I'll say my 2 cents.
But it's one of those, it's like, if I see something different, I've always had this niche and this bite in me to where I'm like, you know what, I want to do something that I really enjoy and get paid for it. And a lot of people do it.
This is the only thing I don't like about that one thing, and you've brought it up before, is that it does make it seem like there is something wrong with being an employee.
Right, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with being an employee. Like, it's, like right now, specifically, I think about, if I wasn't an employee, I don't know how I would be doing. Like, with the way the world is going right now with this whole quarantine thing and the whole global pandemic that we're going through. And most people that I know, not in particularly the industry that like Angel's in and everything, people that I know that have become entrepreneurs are still employees, because that's the stability of it. It's like, yeah, they have this business that they're doing, that they're building. Will they ever branch away and just do that 100%? Who knows? But right now they're doing perfectly fine. And I'm not gonna say a lot of people, but people go into careers that they like and love.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely great. I know in my industry right now, most people didn't go into, like, I was talking to our friend Lauren the other day, and she makes a really good living in healthcare. She was like, one thing that we always say in the healthcare industry is no one goes to school to go into healthcare. That's just something you find yourself doing, and a lot of people love doing it.
That doesn't sound accurate. No one goes to school to be in healthcare.
No.
What does that even mean?
No, not healthcare. What does she do?
She works in insurance.
Insurance, that's what I meant. Insurance.
Oh, okay.
The insurance part of things. That's what I meant. I couldn't remember.
I was like, what?
Whatever it is she does, she was like, nobody goes to school to do that, but it's a full-blown industry on just that.
Oh, okay.
And there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. You know, people climb the corporate ladder. Even with my company, it's a lot of people will get stagnant in a specific position. My company is built on people. People basically have to promote up to the next level for the company to be successful, so they focus on that. And a lot of people get stagnant in some of the positions, but you always need people in every single position. And when you have experienced people in those certain positions, it's always great for everybody. So yeah, but me personally, that's one of those things where I've had little side hustles. I had little small businesses on the side, but then what was it, last year? Was it last year? Maybe the year before? No, last year.
Last year.
I started really digging into, you know what, I've always had this bite, let me just lean into it.
Yes, lean into it.
Like, lean into it,
I
why
think
not?
as a creative, it's hard not to find yourself in situations where you are your own boss. I have been a creative all of my life. I always knew I would be an entertainer. I always knew that part of the reason why I was on this earth was to entertain people, to make them feel a certain way. So it's hard to find a job as an employee that will allow you to do that fully. Like, so I knew that a part of me making money was going to have to be me being willing to be either an independent contractor or me having to create my own like way. And while I do enjoy knowing money is coming in, I don't think I am cut out anymore to work a 9 to 5. I would to support my family, but I don't think that is. I'm cut out for that anymore. And also, I don't think I'm willing to sacrifice not having the flexibility to be around my children as much as I am right now. That's something that I knew from jump prior to having kids, that I wanted to be around my kids. Like, I want to be around them. I want to be a part of a lot of the things they do. And not to say people who have a 9 to 5 can't be, but there are, unless you have a job that is respectful of family time and family dynamic, it sometimes makes it difficult to be.
There's entrepreneurs that go way too long
without because they're having to work. Now that's the thing about entrepreneurship.
Yeah, like
a lot of people see it as
entrepreneurship doesn't stop.
Yeah, a lot of people see it as like a thing of, oh, see, you get to work for yourself, you get to make your own hours, but my hours be longer.
Right.
Like Marcus be like, because I really enjoy my husband being at home. Like that has been, and this will kind of lean over to this next question somebody asked, the blessing of quarantine. That has been the biggest blessing of quarantine, is that Marcus has been home more often. However, he gets on me because I'll be in my office, especially now that my office is workable.
Yeah, actually, you can actually use it as an office now.
I am in this office for several hours. It'll be 8:00 and I'm back in here, and he's like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?"
Because she'll get mad at me, like if I'm working from home, and work day, a lot of times it'll end 3:30, 4:00 or whatever. 4:00 is usually kind of late, and sometimes I'm just wrapping stuff up, so I'll still be there like 5:30. She's like, "Why are you still working?" I'm like, "Well, hell, you gonna be working until 10:00. So what do you mean? Why am I still working?"
I don't like it. I don't like it.
Yeah, like she literally does the exact same thing, but regardless of if it's entrepreneurship or a 9 to 5 employee, that time is still spent even here at the house away from the family. Because Angel would, like, before the office, this was before the office, even when she was still sitting up here at the dining room table, she would be at that table 10:00. It's like,
trying to edit, trying to do stuff.
I got stuff to do. I'm just wrapping stuff up so I can have a less of a stressful day tomorrow.
It is, I'm so sorry. It is definitely, I think, a misconception that entrepreneurs get to work less hours.
No, that's not. That's, if anything, entrepreneurs work more hours. And if you're doing, particularly like we know this is just one small aspect of entrepreneurship or people growing businesses like social media and the whole vlogging thing. It's like that never stops. That's day in and day out.
I think the thing that people don't realize that's different is, hopefully as an entrepreneur, you're doing what you love to do. Right. So that's what makes it seem like,
if you're doing what you love to do, you won't have, it's work. You still have to work, but it's not like working. It's like you're doing what you're passionate about, which can still turn into work. However, it's a different way of looking at it.
But that's also a reason why I've started hiring people to take the things that I don't enjoy doing off of my plate. I don't enjoy doing editing, and I still have to do a lot of it. I still do 50% of my editing, but I have been able to offload 50%. I was doing 100%. So 50% was finally offloaded, which makes a huge difference. But unfortunately, that time did not get transferred over. That free time did not get transferred over to my family. That free time is now being transferred over to, and this moves into, did you have before I move into this other topic, Did you have a blessing of the biggest blessing of quarantine?
Yeah.
Tell.
Biggest blessing for me, it was it exposed me more to what we're trying to build here. The whole quarantine thing, and working from home, which is unfortunately going to be changing for me here pretty soon, possibly. Um, that whole thing of realizing what it may take or what that looks like. It was a lot of y'all saw I was doing a little bit more posting because it cut out those hours of setting in traffic every single day.
Yeah.
Granted, right now, even going back, working daily in the office because I might be doing something different. Even if I'm going in daily because of this whole pandemic, the one of the plus sides of that is less traffic, so I won't be sitting in traffic for 3 hours a day. Hour and a half in the morning, hour and a half in the afternoon, or whatever it may be. So that anyway, one of the blessings of quarantine was that, and because me and Angel have been around each other a lot more, it did allow us to vibe and be in close proximity and to plan out things more. We were able to come up with more ideas, so that was definitely a huge help. Even if we were both working during the day, it's like we'd just be bouncing ideas off each other, which normally we wouldn't get that.
Even the idea of cooking with the tank sleeves, that would not have been possible as doing it the way we were able to do it if it wasn't for the fact that he was home some of the time, because we just wouldn't have known what time he was going to get off of work to be able to do cooking with the tank sleeves. But one thing that's easy to cook is Every Plate.
Absolutely.
And that brings us to our second sponsor. Every Plate we have also used before. They have sponsored the podcast before, but I'm so glad that we get to tell you more about them. So, Every Plate is something where you get to experience full plates and fuller wallets with America's best value meal kit. Get meals you'll enjoy and your bank account will love delivered right to your door. Think of it this way. One meal is the same price as 1 cup of coffee. As 1 cup of coffee?
Yeah,
that's
come on
crazy.
now.
Every Plate's dinners are the cheaper alternative to takeout or delivery, because that stuff be expensive as all. Delivery and takeout, that is the devil. Okay, the way it be hitting your pockets. Recipes come together in about 30 minutes. Definitely faster than a trip to the grocery store or starting a meal from scratch. Every Plate delivers contactless delivery to your doorstep for easy home cooking on a budget. Less time deciding on what to cook means more time spent enjoying good food with family. That's probably one of our longest discussions is, what do you want to eat?
Yeah.
We will go back and forth. What you want to eat?
I chose yesterday. No, but I chose this and that, but I bought it. What do you want? What do you want? Ain't you hungry? What you want?
I'm telling you, Every Plate takes that off of the table. Every Plate does the meal planning, shopping, and prepping for you, taking the time-consuming guesswork out of cooking. Never buy more ingredients than you ever need, because Every Plate recipes comes with everything already pre-measured. Every Plate now offsets 100% of their carbon emissions, and Every Plate is constantly expanding their shipment zones. Check to make sure your zip code is included where they ship at checkout. So Every Plate is like $2.99 a meal for 3 weeks. That when they say the cost of coffee, they mean it. Okay, they absolutely mean it.
Yeah, it's.
Go ahead.
You can't buy ingredients for that cheap, y'all.
Yeah, so even at regular price though, Every Plate is up to 58% cheaper than other major meal kits out there. All right. So we have used Every Meal before. Their meals are delicious. I did this
Every Plate before.
Sorry, I did call it Every Meal because Every Meal was delicious. We've done Every Plate before. The meals were delicious. We did one of the ones. My favorite was the chicken with the linguine pasta. It was so delicious. I made my mother the beef one. It was beef and rice. It was so good, and it took no time.
I wasn't able to pick a favorite. They were just on point.
They were, and you all can give Every Plate a try. All right, what you want to do is you want to go to everyplate.com and get 3 weeks of Every Plate meals for only $2.99 by going to everyplate.com and entering our code ARGUE3 3.
Argue 3.
Again, get 3 weeks of Every Plate meals for only $2.99 per meal by going to everyplate.com and entering the code ARGUE3. Make sure you check out Every Plate. Yes, so as you were saying, your blessing. I'm gonna get a charger while you finish talking about the blessing of the quarantine.
I was done talking about it, but I can elaborate.
What's some of the things that were like eye opening to you as far as in what we're trying to build?
That was I can't say things that were eye opening. It was more so of, like I said before, she was gonna throw a question out like it was supposed to hold me talking until she got back. I'd already answered that. But anyway, I'll go ahead. It was more so, like I said, being able to, like I said, we were in close proximity and vibing. Like you always hear, I was telling somebody that yesterday, every single article I've ever read, every book I've ever read about successful people, they always do it in groups. People are always successful in groups, whether they're people that they're building with or just people that they've become friends with, and you start to vibe and you start bouncing ideas off of each other. And that's one of the things we were able to do that we didn't usually do, because a lot of times Angel has been working before the quarantine thing. Angel has been working all day. So when I get home, she's probably still working in her office or at the table, and I get home and I'm tired because traffic was, day was long, traffic was long. So a lot of things we just be like, well, this weekend we got to talk about this or talk about that. Weekend comes, we just want to relax. But anyway, like I was saying, being here during the day, it was just like we really said, all right, we got time. It was not that we had time, but it was like we're right here next to each other. Let's talk about this real quick. Or, I'm going to push back from this, take a break. Now my breaks are going from, just continue to work while I'm at the office, or now my breaks are, all right, well, let's do this real quick, or let's talk about this until I get back to work. So it was just having more time to figure out what that was. And now that I'll be, now that schedule changes and I'm going in the office every day, at least I know what that looks like, and I think it'll make it a lot easier to pivot to not slowing down, because I see what it takes. I see the type of discussions that we need to have. Even if we don't know what the discussion is, we know the type and where those need to lean toward.
Yeah, I do think you've become a better partner in building what we are building than what you've ever been because of quarantine. I think he's just had more bandwidth to actually have the conversation and be active in the conversation, because a lot of times before, just because of Marcus being so tired from working, it'd be me having the conversation and him kind of just listening, but like him being able to like be more fully invested in the conversation, as well as hopefully take part in some of the executing of it. That has been the greatest one of the greatest blessings of quarantine. And Marcus has been able to participate with things with, like, please believe, people have asked for Marcus to do stuff like,
oh yeah, like come on there, do different things with them, like whether it be their podcast or whatever. But everybody does stuff in the middle of the day. Oh, we record at 10 a.m. on Wednesday morning. It's like 10 a.m. I'm in the middle of a meeting at work. Like, what do you mean? Like, right. I'm still working my 9 to 5.
Exactly. And so that made it really difficult for him to be able to, because like it's really hard to build. Some people are able to build within a vacuum where they are able to somehow blow up. But even like when you think of the people who blew up, like their success seemed to like catapult. If we take Tabitha Brown for a moment, even though it wasn't Tabitha being put on to somebody else's stuff, because Tabitha was doing her own kind of collaborations within her own stuff by bringing on people's brands, and by sharing her vegan meals on TikTok, like she kind of also let go of that vacuum situation. And if Marcus can't do that because of his work schedule, it makes it harder for us to be able to grow, harder for him to be able to grow.
Right.
Now, I can't remember what point I was going to make earlier, but this segues into another question they asked. What is your vision for the future of Manship?
Yeah, well, let's get into that, because, yeah, I put these in order. Also, you was here for what to do in quarantine. feet while for business. Did you want to do that one?
I want to do
shit?
the question
Right.
that I
Chill
asked.
out. She over here looking at my notes, y'all. Don't be look.
This is how you produce a segment. You don't keep. This is I know how to drive stick, right? And so.
Oh my goodness. All right. So anyway,
and
man.
So when you are transitioning gears, you want that smooth transition, not that gun.
All right. So you need to let the person know, anybody in the car with you, where you going.
I did.
Anyway, no. So for Manship, I see it. See, look at Sai. He's back. Now for Manship, I see this going. I see it getting bigger than what it is. Right now. So I'll tell you what I'm currently doing, and then where I see it going from that. So right now I'm working on branding. We've already made it a little easier for me to produce the product. Mm-hmm. I'm able to produce in larger quantities now. So now that I have that, I need to make it easier to advertise for me now. And when I say easier to advertise, I want it to have a specific look, and I want that look to be automatic. So I'm working on branding, trying to figure out that like permanent look that I wanted to have. And once I do that, I want to be able to get to the point. It's kind of hard. I don't know if I would ever sell it, but I want to get to the point to where I've already been asked to provide for like some people's stores, but I was still skeptical on how like the shelf life of it just setting out on a shelf, and I'm still working on that. I may have already figured that out, but all that takes time. Like a lot of people are like, Marcus, look how long it took you to start that. Y'all, this takes time because you have a product that you're putting out. It's like, how long will this last? What's the shelf life on it? You can't test shelf life without doing a shelf life test. So it's like,
have you done the shelf life test?
I'm doing it right now.
Okay.
Yeah. So if that may take 3 months, it may take 6. I'm not sure. I just want to be able to give somebody an accurate time frame of how long this product will last if it's just sitting out somewhere. So anyway, with that said, I see. I don't know the end goal, but I can see the next step strongly. It's just like mass production and mass distribution. When I say mass, for me, I really can't even put a number to it, but I want to be able to.
Do you want to be in a Target or a Walmart, or do you want to be in more of a boutique?
I would like to be in more of boutiques. That's why I was going with that. I want to be in more boutiques, places. I want it to be a well-known product in boutiques. Like, and when I say well-known, meaning people outside, like they've heard of the product. You can't find it in Walmart or Target. That's you wouldn't be able to find it in a Walmart or Target because that's on a production on a whole new level. That's me, that's enterprise type, level.
Do you not see yours as an enterprise type level?
I do, but that's not the next step. Like I said, the end goal.
Yeah, I think
possibly,
that's what's the end goal.
Yeah, end goal. I could possibly. I can't see it remaining to stay the name Manship. I think that would be,
I think you could.
You think I could? Angel thinks I could keep that name and it still be in a Target, or because if they want it, they want the product. They don't care what it's called. But I do see it doing that. But I see that like later on down the road, not next. Like right now, I'm still working on just the whole business side of it. Like as far as pitching it to people, not even pitching it because the product speaks for itself. But as far as like getting it to the level to where I want it to just be in boutiques, like if I'm making literally like truckloads of it and dropping it off to people, like here's your order. So yeah, I don't even know if that answers the question, but I do see it being in like a Target or Walmart before this whole thing is over with.
What else? What other products will come?
Yeah,
with
and
it?
when I say Manship, I'm not only specifically talking about just the beard and body butter I have now. I'm currently looking into making something for women. I want to branch it out to. I'm still working on getting it fragrances, different fragrances for it. I want to branch it out to colognes, and mainly colognes and perfumes, mainly for women too, y'all, because everybody knows women products sell a lot more than men's, but there is a market for the men's stuff, especially with men being more, I ain't gonna say they more in tune with fashion and all that stuff, but if it's something there for them, I'm definitely gonna produce it. I want to be able to, I want to be a household name in that way. I want that product to be a household name in that way.
Something that I want to go back to in talking about this from that I was getting ready to say. was when it came to time and me being able to off put some of my like things that I have to do, like editing, off to people, and how that's not being translated over to my family. It's now being filled with it's now being filled with the things that creatively I have not had time to do. Because I know somebody asked about me writing a film. Like, the more I'm able to take the administrative things off of my plate, the more I'll be able to do those bigger projects that make me have to take bigger leaps. Mm-hmm. Like writing a film, or at least getting it fleshed out to the point where I can have somebody write it. And that, I don't think people realize how much mental space that takes up for me. It is like a gigantic elephant. I was actually just talking to Kevin on stage. He wanted me to pitch my movie ideas to him. So I did via text. And the first one, he was like, so why are you bottling up all of your talent? And I was like, I don't think you understand what like type of huge undertaking this is for me. He's like, it's bite by bite, bite by bite. And I'm like, yeah, that's easy to say. And it's probably 100% true, but it is still hard to do.
That's the thought of eating the elephant is overwhelming versus just diving in and doing it.
Right. So,
because a lot of that actually relates to our last podcast.
Yeah, the big leap. Yeah, taking that huge leap in walking out into the deep water with faith. And so I am also offloading all of this stuff so that I can be more creative in my entrepreneurship. Because right now, I will say, people are only getting maybe 10% of what I'm creatively can pull off. Like, I know that I got more in me than what people have ever seen. So, like, when people get shot, and this is not ego. This is not me trying to toot my own horn. This is what I know. I have a lot of creative juices in me and a lot of ideas that are actually quite, I don't know if the word is sophisticated, but they not like, bottom level stuff. And one part of that is, one reason why I absolutely know is because I studied for this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I trained for this. But, and then just knowing how God feeds me ideas, the way he be feeding stuff to me, I'm like, I wish that I could get it all out of my head. I wish I could make it all be manifested. So I do know that I have to, because if you think of somebody like Puff Daddy, okay, it might be a horrible example, but we're going to go there anyway. Mm-hmm. Puff Daddy was an innovator in music because he was able to get so much done. He was able to keep switching gears. He was able to keep dabbling in this and then dabble in that and then dabble in this, which is due to time and also due to the fact that he's not doing anything in the process that he doesn't want to do. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, he's only doing the part of the process that he wants to do, and he's paying people to do all the other pieces of the process. So if he's like, oh, I want to come up with a show where you see me putting together a band, he's not having to direct it. He's not having to hire the staff for it. He has somebody else doing all that so that his mind can just be focused on the creative vision of the whole thing. Right. So,
I understand 100% where you're coming from, but that's a horrible example because he didn't start off that way.
No, he didn't. No, but that's what I'm saying. He worked his way to that point, right, so that he could do that. And so that's what I have to realize, that my hustle has to be to work to that point. My hustle can't be to just keep hustling at the stage that I'm at. Right. So, that is why I like, and I don't like that I'm only giving 10%, because I'm just like, when people are like, oh, Angel, you can do that too. And I'm like, See, y'all don't even know. I can. Yes.
Yeah.
Y'all don't even know. But that's because I am using vlogs to be able to get the finances to me. I'm using podcasts to get the finances so that people can see the bigger the what is actually in me. You know, that is, you get what I'm saying?
No, yeah, I see 100% what you're saying. That's one of the things with even with Manship, we were talking about, making more. It's like at some point I'm gonna have to bring on employees to help produce this.
Right.
Help, in
he don't even he be half time don't even want to bring me on, and I'm just like, sir, I see her. But I did get you that equipment though. I'm so proud. Listen, there's very few moments.
I'm so particular about stuff, y'all.
Right, and that
like I get my measurements down to the not even a half ounce, down to the exact. And when it's off, I'm like, oh, it's like, and it probably don't even matter, but that's how I'm wired. And I need to branch away from it. I know.
Yes, what they say, perfection is the
I ain't
killer,
never heard of it.
Killer of progress.
Ain't nobody ever heard of that. Shut up.
Yes, somebody even said it.
No sense.
How does it make no sense?
Sound like something a crackhead would say. Perfection's gonna kill your progress.
It is. You see how
Trust
it
me.
is. So the crackhead is smoking a cigarette. It is. Perfection will. It will kill your progress. But yeah,
that's my problem. I'm a perfectionist.
So yeah, you gotta. So that was one of my proudest moments as a wife in the gift giving realm, because I'm not as good of a gift giver as he is. So when I got him that blender, so that he can make more, it blessed my soul that it worked. You don't even understand, because Marcus don't be like I have had some input into Manship, like trying to get help, being able to build the website and stuff that was going to help move him forward. But I also know there are steps that he's just not, one doesn't need me involved with, but also doesn't want me involved with. But I also know, because I know him and I know he will overthink something to the point of nauseum, and it's just like, go, just do, just go, just do. That I'm glad that there are things that he's allowed me to do, and you haven't just kicked it to the curb. Like, you actually use the website. You're not like, no, let's move this, and you actually use the blender. But also backtracking as well, back to the whole thought of collaboration that you were talking about. What has being involved and bald in the beautiful been like?
There you go, looking off my notes again.
Been like.
I was gonna segue into that. No, I'm just kidding. No, Bald and Beautiful. I love collaborating with, especially with people we are cool with, that we have good rapport with, good chemistry with, is the biggest thing. Bald and Beautiful. I love that name. Such a good name.
Yeah. It was a great name.
Me, Melissa, Angel, Kev, we have good chemistry. It's always fun. Like when you see us together on camera, it's nobody being artificial. We're just all being us. Collaborating with them has always been fun. I remember we did their podcast. What was that, like a year ago, 2 years ago, maybe?
Yeah, a year and a half ago.
About a year and a half ago. And that was like my first time being around them in the same room and everything. And then so it was a little different. But as we have been around each other more and more, that's like we just going to hang out with some friends and talk about stuff.
Yeah.
And hopefully that's successful enough to where we plan on doing more and more stuff together. But that is even that shows, like, I go through, look at the comments, and it's crazy how many people don't watch the show that we're reviewing. They have no desire to watch the show that we're reviewing, but they come back every single week for that review. And that just shows how entertaining it is for people to just sit and watch friends talk about a show. Like,
yes, I think
that's an easy collaboration for me. Because it's not always easy. That's what I was getting to. Collaborations aren't always easy because the chemistry's not always there. I've been on podcasts, and I won't say which ones, but it looked good, but it was a struggle for me to, I don't know how to make that chemistry look like, oh, okay, no, this is cool. Not to any fault of theirs or mine. It was just like everybody, if you haven't been around them or you don't have good chemistry with them. You just have to be good at being on or hosting a podcast. And I haven't perfected that. I don't think I have. You all seen Angel interview people, and she knows what questions to ask. She always has her questions lined up, and other people don't always do that. I don't think I'd be able to. I'm not at that point yet.
You will be eventually. This was a skill set that I built up. This wasn't something I was.
And I know, and I've seen it even when I'm on other people's podcasts. I've seen the struggle with that, but it's not like I would know any different. So I just let my natural, what do you call it, charisma? I guess use my natural. What I know, I can vibe with people. I can make it seem fun.
Yeah.
But again, with Bald and Beautiful, is no effort whatsoever. Really not.
What I also think is good for you to be able to see something that you might not necessarily have found any interest in being interesting to an audience of people.
Yeah, no, I've caught on to that long ago because y'all know I'm like, Shano, I ain't gonna look at that.
Yeah. But it's good, like, because that used to be Marcus's sticking point. Being in vlogs. It's boring. This boring. Like, I ain't got nothing to talk about. Why am I boring? And I'm like, it doesn't matter what you feel about it.
Yeah, I struggle. Like, here, go on in and vlog your chair. It's like, what?
Yes, vlog your chair. Vlog what you about to eat. Same thing with the podcast. Oh, people listen to podcasts? Like, why? Like, I think it's great. I think it's great for Marcus to be able to be able to see, like, how projects can manifest, even if, like, well, I also think it's great for you to be able to build something that you are interested in doing that.
This boy's really creasing my Jordans right now, y'all.
He just comes in here specifically to
nurse for 5 seconds and then leave. Y'all know what that is? Y'all know what y'all seeing right now? That is the true markings of future ass whoopings. That's the thing. It's in the making. Y'all seen it manifest itself.
Oh,
y'all's attitude.
This is what he wants me to do. He wants me to put his shoe on his foot. This is what happens when your baby doesn't have words. They come and they whine. He wants me to put his flip flop on his foot, and because I wasn't understanding.
Oh yeah, and he gets frustrated when he wants you to do something, and you don't understand. He will get frustrated. Like, I'm trying to tell y'all.
I'm trying to go find the other one. Oh, bless his heart. Bless his heart. But as I was saying, I do think it's great.
Club footing out of here. He ain't used to wearing shoes yet, y'all.
I do think it's great for you to be able to create content around what you actually have a passion for, but understanding that also being able to just create content that an audience, it might not be your original audience, but an audience can relate to is also...
Right. Now, that's something, even while doing, like, Bald and Beautiful, like, show and TV reviews, that's nothing that I've ever looked into actually doing. But again, for me it's easy to watch something and to discuss it, but you still have to make it entertaining enough, pay attention and point out specific things. But even doing like on that show, it's like I still wouldn't be able to, I don't think I'd be able to know how to create something like that in a realm that I'm not into. You see what I'm saying? Even though they're doing it, like not to say I'm not gonna get there, but that's like that's a whole different level.
To just say I'm gonna review.
Yeah, it's like I'm gonna start a show reviewing salads. It's like
you y'all. I don't know if y'all know this. ThatChickAngel in the very beginning first was my maternity vlogs or my maternity like updates when I was pregnant with little Marcus. Then it transitioned to Real Housewives Talk TV. I was reviewing all of the Housewives shows.
Yeah, you were.
All of them. The only reason why I stopped is because I could not figure out how to watch the show and then stay up to record and then edit. Because I felt like I couldn't have little Marcus be a part of it. So it would take me 2 and 3 days to get the edit up. Yeah. And back then it was like, no, you need to do it the day after. Because people would always already have their written up review. Yeah. And I was like,
if you have that personality that people just want to see, they don't care how old it is.
Yeah, and if
like people will go back and listen to critics and movie critics and stuff. The movie will be out for 6 months. And they'll still get millions of views just because people want to hear their opinion.
So this is full circle for me because I used to review them, Basketball Wives, like all Real Housewives.
But that's on top of like what you were saying. For me, it's not just you reviewing; it's your personality So you have to come at it from a different angle.
Yes, people, as Kev would say, he is a subject matter expert, meaning people come to him for his opinion
Right.
on things. Not that you have to be the actual expert of all things,
Right.
but like they want to hear your opinion on things. So, is there any other questions that you want to answer over there, sir? Since you've been wanting to transition.
No, well, we talked about that one. No, the other ones I wrote down that I saw is somebody asked, is there any jealousy with parenting, like with the boys being more so leaning toward Angel than me?
But you know what? I don't think we should answer. I think that should be next week's podcast. We could do a whole podcast on parenting. I feel like this one has done good being just on entrepreneurship.
Okay.
And just, is there any more
goals for end of the year?
Goals for the end of the year. When it comes, especially to me being an entrepreneur, I would like to see this channel, ThatChickAngel TV on YouTube, at 100K. We're almost at 70K. I revenue-wise want to double what I'm making currently. And then creative-wise, I want to have finished my first movie script. Whether or not I'm the one who wrote it, I'm not sure of.
It don't even matter.
Yeah, I'm making that clear.
I'm telling you.
I'm making that clear that I don't have to be the one who wrote it. But I want to finish my own my movie script.
Oh yeah, thanks. Laughs loud often. We were going fast, so I couldn't write down who asked these questions.
Yes, apologies, but
yeah,
thank you all
y'all.
for participating in the questions.
Yeah.
Thank you. And if we didn't answer yours this time, more than likely it's going to be used for a different topic. But
for me, by the end of the year, I won't say my main one because that's a conflict of interest to certain parties. But one of the goals is for Manship. I do want to get to the point to where I have to outsource production of it. Because of the massive orders, the amount that's needed.
Yeah.
That's where I want to get to. So, and actually, I've already looked into. I don't know if that's like doing it like a dope house and just hiring people, or doing it like an actual company. It's like I give them the ingredients and the amount, and they produce it, charge, and then the one thing I do, I'm not sure how it will work. Is the price going up from all of this? Because it's not like I get a huge profit off the sale of each one. But with the amount that's needed and what's going into produce, let's say a single one, which I don't produce in singles, I don't even know the measurements for that. But for a single one, so what I'll get for each one, I don't know if that price will have to go up in order to offset the amount needed, and I'm still gonna need to have some type of income from it because I gotta buy ingredients and stuff used in that is not cheap.
Mass production usually costs less.
That's true.
That's
right.
the reason why in grocery stores and stuff.
That's why Costco's so cheap.
Yeah, mass production is less.
Yeah, but yeah, y'all, it's and I'm proud of that. I'm proud of the fact that my Manship Trap House.
I'm here for it. Banger.
Yeah, that's one thing I am proud of is the ingredients that I'm using, and none of that stuff is cheap, and that's why I'm confident in the product. I'm very confident in it.
So yeah,
I just want to shout out real quick to Damien, our friend.
Is he
I don't
on
know
here?
if you saw it. Yeah, he's on here. At the beginning of it, he said, "Hello, Marcus," and Marcus's wife. He said, "Hey, what's up, Marcus? What's up, Marcus's wife?" Damon's always throwing shade at Angel because she needs that.
Why do you keep calling him by the
I said Damien.
If one of the times you said Damon.
No, you heard Damien. I said Damien. I call him Damon, y'all, because he's Damon's old.
Oh my goodness. So you guys, again, apologies for all of the technical difficulties. Apologies for Amar screaming in the mic. That none of that is ever fun. I don't enjoy it, so I know y'all aren't enjoying it coming through your speakers. But you know what? That's what you get on Is This Gonna Cause an Argument?
That's
You're going to get a mess.
Especially live. You just going to get what you get.
You're going to get what you get until we can get somebody else to produce all this so we can just show up. But we do want to say a special thank you to our sponsors, Usual Wines and Every Plate. Please make sure you check them out. I promise you, these are probably two of my favorite sponsors that we've had. You will not regret checking them out.
No, you won't.
So make sure you use our promo codes when you use them. I'll leave it in the description of the video as well as the show notes for the podcast. Again, we give a very special thank you to our Patreon.
What's up, Patreon? Thank y'all for joining us.
You all literally made this episode happen.
This was y'all. This was all y'all.
The entrepreneur episode. I think we'll do a part 2. One that's a little more thought out for us so that we can kind of like really dive deep into where our sticking points are, what our fears are, where we're going to go to therapy.
Woman shit.
Mm-hmm. then real quick, we're going to let them go. Did the conversation that Kev had yesterday with us, did that make you go, maybe I should give therapy another try?
I've always thought about giving therapy another try. I just got to find another therapist.
Okay. I just said it. Whatever.
Yeah, you need to give therapy a try. Work out some of this crap and quit bringing it to me.
I am. We're going to get therapists.
God dang.
Well, let's see what happens if what if this podcast gets so much better? They're going to be like, goodness gracious, y'all are holding back. All the babies crying. So that means it's time for us to go. Please make sure you follow me on all social media platforms at ThatChickAngel.
Y'all can find me on Instagram at Marcus on the Gram, Facebook, Marcus on the Book. Sometimes my stuff posts over there. I don't know why it doesn't. And you can check out my beard and body butter at manship.com. Women have been trying it too, and they love it. It feels good on the skin. That's why I'm looking for these fragrances for y'all's beautiful skin to keep it healthy and vibrant.
Yes, especially if you're pregnant. You can rub it all over your belly and your thighs.
And your baby come out with a beard.
Mm-hmm. So, you guys, y'all be blessed. We'll catch you next Wednesday on Is This Gonna Cause an Argument?
Absolutely.
We thank you guys and
Thank y'all. Hey.
That chick angel.